Hi, Alan Stratton from Woodturning. For the project this week, let's make this segmented vase. This one has a lid and a knob, but the different thing about this is that it is a magnetic interlatch that holds it with just a mild force so that it stays put and you know when it's on, and it aligns with the base. Assisting me in this project is a slew of faceplates. As you'll see me flip it back and forth and mount it back and forth several times during the process. Also very handy was this threaded live center with a adapter from 1 inch to 1 1/4 inches. You'll see that a lot in this video. But the unique thing here is the magnetic latch, and it is hidden, so it doesn't show any magnets on the inside when you look at it. And I calibrated it so that it had enough force to hold it together, but still didn't show. So that's this one. We'll do it.
I prepared several 8-segment rings. I know I am supposed to give a total segment count, but I will delegate that task to you. This will be a smaller vase. With the width of the wood that I'm using, I do not need to analyze and draw the form that is speaking to me. Now I need to start gluing up the rings and starting at the bottom. In advance, I prepared the bottom ring. With 3 rings set to go, I can start tooling. For the exterior, I am using my large bowl gouge. To hollow the interior, I'm using a box scraper. The work is preliminary for now. With the next ring already solidly glued on, I could go right on to gluing the next ring. Instead, I'm working it now before the next one can go on. For now, I drill it out and follow up with the box scraper. Then a little more gross rounding on the exterior, as without a firm plan, I have to wait to see how the shape emerges. Then add the next ring. After a short time for glue to dry, I can work the exterior as long as I have live center pressure to offset the pressure from the gouge. Then drill out the interior. Pressure from drilling is aligned with the axis and will not overstress the still soft glue. Then add another ring. Now I need to take a break to prepare the magnets. I start by mounting a ring to 2 faceplates with double-stick tape. The revolving live center Chuck Adapter helps to center the second faceplate. What I want to do next is to prepare the rings with magnets to hold the top to the bottom. One of my objectives is to ensure the magnets are aligned with each other without a ton of work. I'm starting with a single ring of the same wood as the rest of the project. You are seeing a top and side view of the ring. Then slice a thin ring from each side of the main ring. They do not have to be from opposite sides, it just worked out better that way. With each cut, I use tape to attach the new surface to a faceplate. Then drill a hole for my magnets. By drilling the holes at this point, I expect that the holes will be aligned without too much hassle. Then glue a thin ring to each side. The thin ring will cover the magnet and needs to be thin enough to preserve the strength of the magnet. Later, when the glue is hard, I can epoxy the magnets into each hole. The trick here is to manage the magnetic flux alignment. Then split the main ring in half. I now have 2 rings with totally equivalent hole spacing. Time to glue in the magnets. These rings will be inset into the top ring of the bottom and the bottom ring of the top. And slice a very thin ring off from the main ring. After attaching yet another faceplate with double-stick tape, I can slice off another thin ring. Then mark the radius for the magnets. Marking on the lathe is an easy way to measure. The segment joints are providing the cross marks. It is very handy to center punch the intersections. If you are using an awl to make punch marks, do yourself a favor and buy a spring punch. Above all, do not use a hand to pound a tool. I will drill the holes for the magnets on the drill press. Now I need to true up each mating surface of the main ring and the thin cover ring before gluing the rings together. Finally, saw the ring in half, exposing the cavities for the magnets. I used epoxy to attach the magnets. Now to put it all together, both the top and the bottom are mounted to a threaded wood faceplates. With a live Tailstock Chuck Adapter, I can have both securely mounted while I make sure the exterior form flows uniformly. With the exterior form established, I can now focus on the interior. I had not finished hollowing the interior, but more importantly, now is the time to cut for the magnetic insert. Then glue in the insert. Next, the same process for the top. Hollow and cut the insert, while here I also cut a mount for an expansion mount that I will use later. Then glue in the insert into the top section. The glue is dry enough, I can continue with finishing the vase bottom section and the vase top section. I take some time to refine the interface between the two. The bottom section has a bit of a recess, while the top has just a bit of tenon protruding. But the top needs another layer. I have made a layer of solid hickory. However, this layer is made of 2 layers of hickory glued like plywood. I do not trust solid wood in segmented work without cross-banding to prevent cracks. I just need to glue on this final duolater. Now to finish off that top section. First, I part off the faceplate before addressing the top exterior, but not too far. I cut a tenon so that I could reverse the top into a chuck to refine the interior. I take a moment now to drill for the top knob. This could be done later, but it is best to do it now rather than to forget about it later. Then flip back to an expansion mount to finish off the lid's exterior. Last chance now to refine the exterior shape with both the sections together. It is ready for final sanding. I will finish with walnut oil.
Now, as I finish this vase, I think there's a few things I can improve. One is that I think the magnets, I didn't drill the holes exactly to the magnet size, and there is just a little bit of offset. I was trying for a mount that was perfectly aligned here, but with that little bit of slop, it can drift off to the side a little bit. Also, it takes almost a full quarter turn before it engages, so I may try and do that. The risk that I feel there is that with too many magnets, then it will be hard to get off, because I want to be able to lift this off with one hand. So I'll appreciate your suggestions. I like the hidden part. I like the multiple magnets part, perhaps a different size. I'm sure somebody out there has a lot of ideas and suggestions for this one. So bring them on, and I'll do another one to reflect those.
Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe on my website, and tell your friends. I appreciate your comments and questions. Every week, I make a new wood turning video and add it to my website. As usual, I appeal for you to wear your full face shield for safety anytime the lathe is running. I will see you next week with another wood turning video. Be wise in these COVID times, go get your shot, and count your blessings and stay healthy.